Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
You like that? You like that? I like that.
Welcome in to Daily Vikings Entertainment, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die at some point. This is Purple Daily. Phil Mackey, Judd Zolgad, our executive producer, Declan Goff, and the show is presented in part by our friends at TCL. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed and an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system. So many megapixels. So many. Ultra-realistic and true-to-life visuals powered by Next Vision and booming sound from the dual speakers. Learn more at TCL.com. Grab your favorite can of Surly, crack it open, and pour it back for a Vikings-Packers matchup that's going to be a blast on New Year's Day, Judd.
Absolutely. And you know what? Before you do that, grab your camera phone, take a picture, and show us your cans on Twitter at JZolgad, at Score North. Look, here's the thing. Surly's the perfect beer because Furious Before I Die, Axeman, all of them are great if things are going well because it's a beer of celebration. And if things don't go well, guess what? It's a beer where you say, okay, my day doesn't have a lot of positives, but it does have Surly. Either way, you can never go wrong when you've got a Surly can in your hand.
Amen. Print the shirts. Amen. All right, boys. It's time to fire up the most innovative and high-risk segment in all of sports media, Declan. This is Write That Down.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
All right, boys. Here's how it works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns in this league, so to speak. And listeners, if you want to participate like our guy Bill in Vegas is about, you can send us a message through the Score North app. We'll get you scheduled sometime in early 2023. The 2022 Write That Down season runs through the football season. And so any in-season predictions about the Vikings, playoff predictions about the Vikings or other teams, all count to the 2022 season until we hit the Super Bowl. And then we'll tally up winners for completion percentage and touchdowns. And right now, it is a grind in both categories. All 3 of us are separated by, I believe, less than 2% completions going into the week. And there's a touchdown battle raging as well. It's going back and forth. So the stakes are very high here on Write That Down, boys. Are the nerves getting to you? Or are you like Kirk Cousins, where you're rising up late in the season, late in games?
Nope. I am cool, calm, and collected as we embark on. Okay.
Jeez, what was that?
Well, it was first. I looked at the first 3, and then I looked at the last 3, and I actually turned. I'm pretty happy.
This is a pretty good week for you, actually, Judd. We'll start with Judd's accountability session. You said we'll start with the bad. Justin Jefferson will draw a personal foul penalty against the Giants. You were chasing things here that happened in previous weeks. You were sort of like at a blackjack table chasing losses or something here.
In fairness, that first one was off of what KOC said on Monday after the previous game, because I thought the league might be watching it very closely and throw a premature flag, but I didn't get that. So yes, I was chasing that.
And then you said Dalvin would go over 100 total yards against the Giants. He had like 75 or 77 or something. You said the Vikings would be flexed to a Sunday night at some point this season.
They should have been. It's remarkable.
Not going to happen now.
No, it won't. But it's remarkable that a team that has a record like this didn't get one game flexed to a Sunday night.
Well, but they're frauds, though. So
no, that's how the league sees it. You're right. That's how the nation sees it.
We know they have 10 wins, but they're just going to get beat by 40 in all these other games because they're frauds. You said before the year Greg Joseph would make a field goal of 60 yards or more this season. It was a game winner. This is a touchdown for Judd here.
I saw him make a 61-yard or 2 field goals in training camp, and I was sold at that time.
just drilled that thing from 61. You said Nathaniel Hackett will get fired in season or right after the season by the Broncos. Total debacle. And you said Danielle Hunter would have 10 or more sacks in 2022. He tallied his 10th sack against the Giants.
I should have left out the right after, and because I think the Hackett one is a touchdown if I hadn't put the second clause on that.
Correct. Yes.
So I think,
but we wouldn't expect anything less from check down Judd here.
I cost myself a touchdown right now, and it's time to reflect on that and look at the tape.
You got a little pre-2021 Kirk Cousins in you with these predictions that, yeah, you're kind of looking down the field, but generally speaking, you just want to complete the pass first and foremost.
I'm disappointed in myself. I should have had the confidence that buffoon would get blown out.
Where's he going to land? Just back with the Packers or something?
That'd be ideal.
XFL, along with Peterson. Along with Peterson, he might be head coach in the XFL.
All right, I had a mostly rough week here. I thought Shelley Island would secure an interception. Shelley Island has been very difficult to access for opposing teams, but he has not collected an interception yet. This was another bad beat here. I said the Vikings would have at least a 14-point lead in the first quarter against the Giants. I believe it was a 10-point lead early in that game. I said the Vikings would finish the season 11-6, but that was an exact prediction, so it's wrong. And then I said the Vikings would have 12 or fewer false start penalties in 2022. They were very much tracking for this until they started playing backups. Christian Darrisaw went out, and then Bradbury went out, and then there just became a little more chaos. So they have eclipsed 12 false start penalties, but they are among the league. I think they have the fewest offensive holding penalties. So they got that going for them. I did say Cousins would have a double-digit interception year this year. And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. We said if he's taking more chances, he's going to throw some more interceptions, and so
you're a hater.
Just be a byproduct.
No, I'm not. No, you're a hater, and this is just typical Mackey hate.
Mackey and his spewing hatred for Kirk Cousins. All right, the listeners had a bunch of stuff come off the board here. We'll start with Nick, who said no Giants receiver would have more than 50 yards receiving in that game. Packers, this is Lane. Packers will finish last in the North. Nick said Vikings will finish in the NFC as the 1 seed, which could still happen, but the Dolphins would have the 1 seed in the American Football Conference. That's not going to happen. Tyler Fornes said the Vikings would win the North, but they would clinch the North with another team losing. That was wrong. The Vikings clinched it with their own win.
Yep.
Nick said Greg Joseph will make the Pro Bowl this year, and Ted said the Vikings would win the NFC North by 2 games exactly. I believe they are now mathematically clear of that because the Lions lost. So, but the listeners says Thor here from the Before We Die podcast said the Vikings will go at least 12-5 and they will win the NFC North. There you go. He said that as they were kind of into the season already with a hot start. So that's why it's not a home run or a touchdown. Yeah. And then Nick said Danielle Hunter will play 15 games or more and will record 10 or more sacks. I don't have this as a touchdown. You guys will have to tell me because it still left room for like him getting hurt for a couple games. 10 sacks is a very low bar for him.
10 sacks is low.
So it's a borderline touchdown, but
it's the expectation. I know he's been hurt, but like it's the expectation if he plays 15 games, he'll get 10 sacks.
Yep. So it's kind of a parlay, but not really. And then Declan had a few things come off here. We'll start with the bad. You said the Vikings, this is a bad beat. You said they'd score more than 21, score the first touchdown, and cover the 3.5. They won by 3.
That's why that's why they set you up to knock you down.
Be careful with the parlays, kids. You said the Vikings' final record would be 11-6. And that Pat McAfee would lead the Skol chant at US Bank Stadium this season. We're all out of home games. Unless you think he's going to do it for a playoff game.
Unless at the wild card weekend or something. But yeah, probably not. You can take it off.
I think they probably bring back like a former Viking for that. You did say, however, though, that TJ Hawkinson would score 2 touchdowns against the Giants. Wow, dude.
Bingo.
Yeah, that was good. Very solid.
And that moves Declan to within 1 touchdown of the lead. I still have 15 to Declan's 14. but Declan leads the completion percentage battle at 36%, 0.4% above Judd at 35.6, and just a percentage and a half above me at 34.3. Listeners toiling at 22.9% with 7 touchdowns. So, woo!
This is a great race.
Great season.
This is a blast. Yeah, it's a
great race.
Everything is twisting in the wind from week to week here. So let's get Bill in Vegas on. He's our guest listener predictor this week. Bill in Vegas, you're on the way to the golf course.
Yes.
What's your Vikings fan background for us?
So I was born in '79. I've been a Viking. My first real Viking memory is '87 NFC Championship game. That's my first heartbreak against the Redskins, now Counties.
Darren Nelson.
I can't even go from that. I've seen every heartbreak since then, but I have not seen any Super Bowls. So I'm kind of on the Mackie when you were like, if they could just, or no, Judd, when he said if they could just get to the Super Bowl this year, I'd take it just so I can see it.
Would you take so they get there and then Patrick Mahomes just absolutely shreds them? It's just like a 42-6 beatdown.
No, that I wouldn't take. It's got to be at least close.
But if they lose by a touchdown, you take that.
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Okay.
No.
You guys, man. If they get there, it's got to be it's got to be a competitive thing for me.
That sounds competitive.
There's one goal here. It's to win the Super Bowl. If you're going to do it, win it.
I agree.
So, Bill, we're going to start with you. We're going to go around the room 3 different times here. Bill, Judd, Declan, back to me. Predictions must be football or show related and quantifiable in some form. So, Bill in Vegas,
Write this down.
You're under center. Go ahead.
Real quick, I have to throw a write that down red flag.
Okay. We got a challenge flag here.
There was Declan. I'm sorry.
What the hell?
Declan made against Detroit. He said they would have a combined 750 yards. He didn't say at least 750 yards, over 750 yards.
Oh my God, coming in strong.
Oh no.
He said a combined 750 yards, and they had over 750 yards.
Oh my God.
So I believe in the write that down terminology, that would not be a completion.
So I do have the database here. The prediction so again, Declan, you transcribe these predictions, and I just enter into the database what you put in.
You just read the prompter.
It does say the Vikings-Lions game will combine for over 750 yards.
I watched the video.
So the transcript is different than what he said.
It's been altered.
It is.
My God.
We have controversy.
Oh no.
Gore versus Bush in 2000. We gotta go to a court to figure this one
You're
out.
a hanging chair.
Yes.
I think
I actually rewatched the video before I got on with y'all just to double check.
What the hell, Bill?
Bill's coming in with the
Love
hammer.
Bill.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
okay.
Dad.
You know what, Bill? Right there. This is for you, Bill.
Yes.
This is for you.
Wave the flag.
I'm waving the flag for you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. Okay, Bill. I'll do it again. This is for you, Bill. I'm waving the flag. Me and Mick Tingelhoff. Oh my God.
Okay, just for fun.
Oh my God.
If we were to make that change, and I'm not convinced that we should, but it would put Judd into the completion percentage lead right now by 0.3 percentage points. Declan would drop from 36 down to 35.3. I almost feel like, first of all, we will conduct an internal investigation here. But I almost feel like, so for a long time, we've had this sort of gotcha rule on write that down, right? Where if you don't say at least, if someone says, I think Justin Jefferson's going to score a touchdown against the Giants, and he scores 5 touchdowns, that technically that would be wrong because it was an exact prediction. We've had that sort of gotcha rule where if someone, we don't do it to the listeners very often because they don't play every week, but we may need to revisit the gotcha thing. That should there be an implied. Hey, if he says 750, he clearly doesn't mean exactly 750 yards. It's implied that he means at least.
I mean, you would think as executive producer, he would.
You would think that, yes.
I think that if we had thrown the challenge flag that day, it's wrong and comes off the board.
I don't think the offense has ran another play here.
I don't think we can.
That's true.
It opens up but I mean, Bill brings up a great point, which is be careful of your predictions.
Okay. So maybe that's the rule, that it has to be challenged within the week leading up to the next Write That Down.
Or on that Write That Down.
Yep.
That's
but
fair.
once that play has been run,
I don't think we can go back.
you didn't get the challenge flag out in time.
Because we're all open to it now. Like we could probably go back and find a bunch of flaws. So that's.
And again, I mean, Declan, you probably have your predictions, some of them written out.
Yeah, always.
You sent that into the database,
but Bill is
you spoke it differently on the show. Boy,
make no mistake, Bill has ruined Dex's day. Dex now, I mean, look at, he's gone from young and chipper and eager to participate. He's shaking his head, clearly pissed off.
Yeah, hit him straight today, Bill. Hit him straight.
Bill, I would like to thank you as
I love it.
a fellow older guy. I would like to thank you for holding accountability that Sports Dad tries to, but sometimes doesn't really come through.
It's just a lesson.
Track of the children.
It's a lesson to all of us.
Just a lesson. That's all.
Yep, and we will continue to be lenient. We will double check with listeners to make sure. I don't want to screw Bill in Vegas. With maybe his only appearance on the show here.
Declan's going to write all his predictions down wrong.
LOL. Bill is wrong for every prediction.
All
right. So Bill, what is your first prediction here?
Right.
Be very careful with your wording.
Yes, my first one's going to be a butt. Judd, I need you to take your headphones off.
I'll turn my headphones down too.
Okay, there he is.
All right. He loves this word. So he will say by the next Write That Down, he will say justification at least once.
You need to count this for us, probably. Well, I guess if it's just once,
we can probably get
We'll hear it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bunt. I'm taking a bunt for the listeners.
Okay. I love it. I love show predictions. So great. Okay, Judd, you can come back. Judd, look. On Twitter.
All right, I got to turn this back up.
All right. Did you rifle off a couple tweets there while you were?
I'm back.
Okay. All right. This could come off the board. This could come off the board before the show is over.
In the next three predictions?
Legitimately.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Write this down. The Vikings will beat the Packers on Sunday and finish with the second seed in the conference. So they'll I guess upset because they would be. Last time I checked, 3-point dogs. The Vikings will upset the Packers on Sunday and finish with the second seed in the conference.
Do they have to win week 18, do you think? They might have to win week 18.
They might have to, yeah. Absolutely. And if Philly falls apart, they could have the top seed in the bye. I don't see it happening, but it could.
Dex?
All right, my first prediction. I'll keep the Greg Joseph train moving here. Write this down. Greg Joseph hits a go-ahead field goal in the fourth quarter or overtime that puts the Vikings up for good against the Packers.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. He's feeling it, man. What's the weather forecast now for Sunday?
30s.
Mild temperatures.
So, right?
Yeah. Precipitation, though.
Might be some, some rain, some sleet, some snow.
Okay.
So the ball could be
get
wet.
murky.
The ball could be wet. Yeah, it could be a problem.
Right. We trust Greg the leg.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will intercept or strip sack Aaron Rodgers at least twice in this game. And he will be caught on camera chirping at one of his offensive teammates after at least one of the plays. The implication off the record being that a bad thing will happen and he will not take responsibility himself. He will blame an offensive lineman or a running back for not picking up a blitzer or a receiver for dropping a pass or bouncing off his chest or something. So they will intercept or strip sack Rodgers at least twice in the game. And immediately after, or at some point after, he will be caught on camera chirping at an offensive player after one of those plays happens. Okay?
Got a touchdown?
Yeah.
Because he chirps a lot. So I'm just...
Well, it's
the
other
two turnover things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's got to be a lot of things.
I'm asking a question. Bill, Bill went to a very dark place, but I liked it. So I just want to make sure that we're all, I mean, this is crunch time right here. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. No, you don't have
crunch
to.
Time. I'm getting confident.
You don't have to validate.
I'm feeling my oats.
All right, back to Bill in Vegas.
All right. Captain Kirk Cousins will remain undefeated in Green Bay as a Minnesota Viking this weekend and throw for at least 2 touchdowns and at least 290 yards.
All right.
The key words being at least.
Least.
At least right there. The key safety words.
This man knows his stuff.
So the undefeated in Green Bay is kind of funny, right? So he has a tie.
Yep.
He last year he did not play because of COVID, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And then
I believe he's 2-0-1.
2-0-1, and then this will be his
2019, they lost at Green Bay. Cousins had a horrible game in week 4. Like he threw a ball in the end zone.
They never lost. He's never lost in Green Bay as a Viking.
There you go. I will trust
Well,
Bill's
let's
research.
look it up here. No, we
Yeah,
got.
I mean, let's go.
Declan's lashing out.
I mean,
He's
we could have
lashing
an immediate disqualification of a prediction.
Declan is correct.
Yeah,
Declan is
2019.
correct. Week 2 at Green Bay, and he did throw. I remember it was like a third. It was like a
Horrible.
1st and 10 interception or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had 4
The
return
Vikings lost 21-16 at Lambeau Field, and Kirk was atrocious. He was 14 of 32 in that game for 2 interceptions, a 52 passer rating.
Wow, how did I miss that?
It was bad.
Happens to the best of us.
Oh boy. Oh, this is about to get ugly. This is about to get ugly, folks. Strap in. Declan
no.
V. Bill.
Oh no!
This thing's gonna take a turn.
All right,
an
I
ugly
mean,
turn.
Billy, you can keep the prediction in terms
Yeah,
of
the
like
predictions.
the win.
Yeah, just
and
take
the other
away
stuff.
Well, I
take
mean,
away
Peter
the
Park.
undefeated in
aside,
Green Bay.
You
yeah.
got it. You got it.
Okay. I love
That
this
game was
battle.
in Green Bay, not in Minnesota.
yeah.
Correct.
Yes, and I do
covered
remember
it.
that game too. Yeah. It
Okay.
was bad.
Because the tie was really good. Kirk came back and threw. I think that the 2018 tie was the touchdown dime to Thielen, right? It was just a great pass.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was like this a great catch too. But yeah, 2019 wasn't so good. All right.
All right, over to Judd here for
Over
your
me?
Write this down.
second
All right.
prediction. Yeah.
The Eagles will be knocked out of the playoffs before the NFC Championship game. The Eagles, we're all, the Eagles this, the Eagles that. They are starting to get guys hurt. The team that plays eventually in the playoffs, someone's going to come up with a Jalen Hurts plan that I think is going to be pretty good.
And it's going to be Ed
It's going to
Donatel.
be the Donashell. The Donashell is going to take it all away. The Eagles will be knocked out of the playoffs. In other words, the NFC Championship game will not be in Philadelphia.
Interesting. Dallas could do it. I could see the Niners pretty much winning anywhere with
Write this down.
I
any
agree with
quarterback.
that. Absolutely.
They could make that happen. Although that might not be able to happen. We'll see where the seeding lines up. Okay, Dex.
All right, my second prediction. Write this down. TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson will combine for at least 25 targets in this game against the Packers. At least 25 targets. Last week, I think it was like 32. They had a ton.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think
crazy.
that recipe will still continue against Green Bay. So
They
JJ
should.
and Hawkinson for at least 25
What was
targets
it last week?
against the Packers.
They each had 16, I think, last week, which is pretty much what it should be. Just
Yeah.
Yep, 32.
16 to JJ, and then as many. And Hawkinson, he's not going to get you as many explosive plays as Justin will, but those are your
Unless-
two best weapons.
Unless KJ steps up. Big game
Well, I
for
gave you the
KJ.
100-yard. Yeah,
I know you did.
I'll give
Trying
you
to
another.
help you,
I'll give you
too.
another KJ one here.
Write this down.
As I try to will my Hubbard TV fantasy league to a championship this weekend, it lacks so much depth that I'm starting KJ Osborne against the Packers. And so on Mackie and Judd, I told you that he would go over 100 yards. Write this down. And I think this is, you tell me if this is a touchdown. KJ Osborne will score a touchdown in this game against the Packers. At least a touchdown in this game against the Packers.
I
So
don't
on
think
on the season, he has, let's see here. He has 4 touchdowns on the
Yeah,
season.
I
So
don't think that's a touchdown.
I
think
need
you
to
would
add
up it.
something.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go KJ Osborne at least 1 touchdown. And who else could score a touchdown to make this a touchdown prediction? I'll just leave it. Leave it.
Okay.
KJ Osborne with at least, how about this? Sorry. At least a touchdown and at least 1 catch of 25 yards or more. So a big play
Okay.
and a touchdown. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Specific enough. Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Write this down.
All right, back to Bill in Vegas here. Your third and final prediction.
All right, so Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins will both get a vote for MVP.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
At least one vote for MVP for each one. And I don't think that's ever happened for one team.
Interesting.
I don't know about that. Now it's changed because it used to be that the 50 people who had votes just had one vote. So like you just write
Right.
down one name. Now it's gone to the baseball thing of like tiers, like 1, 2, 3. So it's likely you're right. Like I could see that happening.
Okay.
I think Jefferson should be MVP. I mean, the whole wide receiver thing kind of kills him. Kirk, everybody talks about his numbers being down. They're not really down right now. I mean, look, he's what, 5th in yards. He leads the NFC in yards,
back-to-back
and I think he's
400-yard
third in
games.
touchdowns.
The
And
back-to-back
I get-
400-yard games did it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got more interceptions, but if you go back and watch, about 6 of those are not him. You know, they're drop passes or
Philadelphia one was
wrong routes. Yeah,
AJ ran the bad route. Yep.
Yeah, he
and
very
he's
rarely
really, if you look over the last, I believe it's 5 weeks, he's actually number 1 in just about every single category over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's because it's clutch time.
Yeah.
Most
If
clutch
you look,
times.
I think if you look a little deeper, like so yardage, he's gonna blow by his Vikings high in part because there's an extra game, but I think he would blow by it even without the extra game because he just needs like 150 yards to hit a new Vikings career high.
Right.
His passer rating is down. His QBR is a career low, and his yards per attempt are a career low. So some of it's just like he's throwing the ball a lot. He's going to wind up with more attempts than at any point in his career, which is why the yardage is up, which is why.
Yeah.
So, but like by and
He's
large,
also-
his numbers are going to look similar back of the football
Yeah.
card compared
He's
to.
also
previous year.
doing it, getting hit more than just about any quarterback in history.
Yep. It's
Oh,
nuts.
he's getting annihilated.
It's
he's
nuts. Dude, if
getting
you want
destroyed.
cheap plug, Boone on Trenches with Boone, Purple Daily, which was up this morning on the Purple Daily YouTube channel podcast.
Nice. I love that show.
He broke down 2 plays where Kirk got absolutely like he saw it coming, hung in there, and throws a dime to Justin Jefferson. And he's been doing more of that this season than in previous years. He just has.
I agree. I wasn't really a Kirk fan. I'm kind of a Kirk fan right now. Just
How
this
can you-
year.
yeah.
Just
For this season, how can you not be?
You got to appreciate
I
what he's
agree.
done this year.
No, I mean he's changed.
Yep.
He just
Well,
has.
Bill in Vegas, we know you got a tea time here, and
Yes.
you got some other previous write that down film to crunch to play gotcha
Great
police
call on
here.
Dex.
Yep. So, Bill, since you've got this life-changing platform here on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this moment?
yeah. Well, just for this season, I would love to thank the Wilfs for not hiring Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
That's
Amen.
that's what I'm so thankful for right now.
Amen.
Yes, gentlemen,
Bill-
I love you guys. The show's awesome.
Dude, thank you.
Have a great one.
Yeah, line
Thank
up
you,
those
man.
putts, Bill. Have a
Yeah.
good ground.
You know what? Don't listen to Declan. He's bitter because you
Take
brought
your
up a
time,
great point.
Look
Bill,
over both angles.
No.
Go both sides of the hole.
No.
Yeah.
Do you, buddy?
We're good. We're good. All right, gentlemen.
Thanks.
All right,
Bill.
bye,
Have a good
Bill.
one.
All right, see you, buddy. Great stuff, man. Happy holidays to you as well. Boy, you are.
You're bitter.
Mm.
Now everyone's going to feel like they're going to get attacked by our executive producer when they come on and write that down.
Well, Bill did call him out. I mean, it was
I get called
fantastic.
out.
And Bill's point is a
Well-
very good point. I just don't think that we can go back weeks or months after a fact and change things.
Yeah. Well, it's a unique circumstance in that when the rest of us throw out predictions, Declan transcribes the prediction and puts it in. But
And
when
right-
Declan puts out a prediction, no one's transcribing it. He is putting it in. We are trusting you to put the same prediction into the database. And if there's a discrepancy between, what actually was said and what was put into the database, I could see how this would be a breach of write that down. It would be a violation of write that down code.
Do we need more checks and balances?
We
AJ
may-
That's the
Fredrickson.
question facing us.
Got some more duties for you. Come on every Wednesday. Write these predictions down for us.
I think that's the question.
Amazing. All right, before we get to actually let's finish it out here. Let's go, Judd, your final prediction, and then we got some other fun stuff on the show today too.
Write this down.
All right, my final prediction is this: Derek Carr will not be with the Las Vegas Raiders next season. So
Yeah,
he is
completely train wrecked in the last like 5 games.
He's train wrecked. I thought at one time that McDaniels might be fired, but I think that they are cash starved there, and so they can't afford to fire him and pay a different coach.
Yeah.
So I think Josh McDaniels comes back, and I don't see how Derek Carr then comes back. So I sort of like Phil's prediction, like the Saints, something like that for Derek Carr, because I mean he's going to get a chance and deserves it, but it won't.
Play.
But his time with the Raiders will be over after the season.
He can play. He needs it. What's happening with Kirk and KOC, guys like Carr, there's that like second tier of quarterbacks where if they get matched up with the perfect pairing,
great point,
they can excel. If they don't, they can train wreck. We've seen Kirk train wreck for stretches under the wrong coach as well. So everyone needs their KOC, like Kirk has found his KOC.
Write this down.
All right, Dex.
All right, my final prediction. Write this down. This will be Aaron Rodgers' last game versus the Vikings as a member of the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
So
Mark
we can.
Schlereth,
I'll put the end date of week 1 of next season. I don't know how long it'll take him to make his decision, or if he gets traded, or whatever the hell happens. But this will be Aaron Rodgers' last game versus the Vikings as a member of the Green Bay Packers.
I think instead of putting an end date, I think we can just agree that if there's a transaction that, like, if he gets traded or leaves or something, that the prediction comes off the board. And then if you were to like unretire, then it resets. So you're safe.
Okay.
Mike Schlereth, I believe, is reporting that the Packers have decided to move on to Jordan Love next season.
Didn't Mark Schlereth also report that Denver and Aaron Rodgers were a done deal back in like February or March?
I have no idea if he's right or not.
He was literally like, it's a done deal. Rodgers
and it probably
to the
was,
Broncos.
and that's why Nathaniel Hackett got the job.
Why would you move on to Jordan Love if you like ever? If Aaron Rodgers wants to play another year for you, why would you move on to somebody else?
I don't see how they get out of that contract. That's what confuses me.
Right. And I get that he's weird and cantankerous and like yells at young wide receivers, but dude, they have a chance to win out and get to the playoffs still, largely because he's just awesome.
Fingers crossed. Jordan Love, man. Fingers crossed Jordan Love leads them into a decade of mediocrity to being awful.
Yeah, by all means, like don't let us stop you from going to
this could shift it to the Bud Grant Vikings, where they are kings of the division for an extended period of time.
Write this down.
Okay, final prediction for me this week. So there's been all sorts of chatter, right? The Vikings exclusively play close games. When are they going to get their blowout? I think the only win they have of 2 scores or more was against Green Bay in week 1. So here's my prediction. The Vikings' next win of 2 scores or more this season will happen in the wild card round of the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
So or if you want to say their second win of 2 scores or more this season will happen in the wild card round of the playoffs. So it's kind of a parlay. They will win their wild card game against whoever they play. It's actually a 3-item parlay.
Yeah, because they can't beat the Bears by 2 or more
Bears
touchdowns.
It's a 4-item parlay. They will not beat the Packers by.
That's a touchdown.
Not beat the Bears by.
Big touchdown.
They will beat a random opponent, and they will beat them by blank. So there you go. That's some purple Kool-Aid there. Bill in Vegas versus Declan. We got to see a little sparring match too. It's always great when you get to see a sparring match. I'd write that down.
Oh, quick question. Did the prediction about me come off the board?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know what it is, obviously. So
I don't think so.
But you said it might come off the board during
it could
the show.
still come. It could still come off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Could still.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh.
careful.
Whoa.
Oh, is he gonna?
Yeah.
Is
careful.
he? Oh no.
The wording got to be watched out. What are you gonna do?
Well, Judd sits and sweats and overthinks what the prediction might be. I'm going to tell you guys about an easy way to play daily fantasy, and that would be Prize Picks. You pick between 2 and 5 players and an over-under on their projections. You can win up to 10 times on any entry. Prize Picks offers every major sport: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, mixed martial arts. You can run mixed sports entries. You can take the over on Cousins yards and maybe the under on Gobert rebounds or something. Use the promo code NORTH, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. You can also help us by telling them that we sent you using that promo code NORTH. Check out the app or the website, prizepicks.com. Also, man, this morning, I think Maya Mackey is understanding that sleeping in is, you can sleep in a little bit, okay? Like, the Nutrisource will still be there. And so we're trying to train her to not, paw us in the face. But this is the face for the YouTube audience when we tell Maya, it's not quite time yet for your Nutrisource chicken and rice. We know you love it, but you need to wait another hour. And then she gives us the side-eye glance.
And you make that face wait? What type of parents are you?
We don't want the dog running the house.
Oh, well, it's too
Stella
late
runs the house,
here.
dude.
It's too late here. Stella runs the house, and I gave up a long time ago. And that's why at 5:45 this morning, I was downstairs brewing up some coffee and also pouring her Nutrisource. And then, of course, she goes outside, and so she gets the training rewards treats. Look, a lot of you, your dogs run the house. There's nothing to be ashamed, but make sure that if that's the case, they are eating the best food around, and that is Nutrisource.
Yeah. All right, boys. What are people saying about the Minnesota Vikings? It's been a few weeks since we've gone to the Ringer quarterback rankings, the weekly Ringer quarterback rankings. They've been literally updating in real time the ranking of NFL quarterbacks since the preseason. Let's go through this and see where Kirk lands. So again, Kirk has tied the record for single season fourth quarter comebacks. He is now the architect of the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yep.
And now, after a couple 400-yard games, his back of the football card numbers are starting to look even better. He's gone back into like the top 7 in total yards, passing yards. Mm-hmm. He's going to hit 30 touchdowns. So everything's kind of coming together for Kirk. Patrick Mahomes, number 1 since week 8 in the NFL. Stop me if you feel like one of these is wrong, okay? Justin Herbert, the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Wrong.
Okay.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow or Allen, I think, have a better case right now, personally. But I would take, and if you're asking me to rank those two, I would put Burrow over Josh Allen. But I don't think Herbert is the second best quarterback in the NFL.
It's a little aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little aggressive. I love me some Justin Herbert, but he's not. I agree. I don't think he's on the level of certainly Mahomes. I think you're right. I think they're wrong. I don't know even how they justify this. He's been the second best quarterback since week 10 in their rankings, and they give him, so they have like Madden grades for all of the different attributes. They have him 100 out of 100 in arm talent, and that's great. But like,
yeah,
yards per attempt, he checks down a lot more than the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So
if you just do it though, as people expect, it's not as much fun.
that's true.
I feel like you got to pick a guy and ride him, and
You
that's
do.
Herbert.
Josh Allen, number 3. Joe Burrow, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson, who's been hurt, number 5.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a month, right?
Dak Prescott, number 6.
I don't agree with that. I mean, since he came back, aside from the game here, he has not been that good, and he's had a bunch of picks.
Yeah,
So I don't agree with that. I think that's a bad guy to ride. I think
I agree.
Herbert's a good guy to ride. I don't know. I don't agree with his ranking, but I get the sort of need to be different. Dak, I'm more and more out on Dak now than I've ever been.
Yeah, same.
Aaron
You think
Rodgers,
so?
number 7. Yeah, I think Dak is way too high at 6. Dak is a good, solid quarterback, but I would still take this version of Aaron Rodgers above that version of Dak, and they've got Rodgers 7.
Okay.
I would take Trevor Lawrence above Dak. They've got Trevor Lawrence 8 right now.
Well, that's an
Look at the
interesting
second
team.
half of the season that guy's had.
That's an interesting team.
They're probably going to win their division.
I
Sneak into the
still-
playoffs.
I think within the next couple of years, he's going to end up being a great pick.
Yep, he's in. Oh yeah, he's
I
in
just
that mix.
I just love him.
Number 9, Jalen Hurts. The
Yeah.
disrespect is already palpable right now. We've already made it to 10 here. Geno Smith.
Okay, I don't know. No.
He's having a career
Great
season.
year.
He's
Great
having
year.
a career season.
But
Yeah, Geno
Come on.
right now ranks 5th in passer rating. He ranks 5th in QBR. So he's going to go over 4,000 yards. I think he leads in completion percentage. He's having a good year.
Yeah, no, but he's still, no, don't like it.
Tom Brady, number 11. Deshaun Watson back in the mix at number 12.
Really?
And Kirk Cousins, 13th. They had him as low as 16th in week 14.
I remember that.
We haven't done this in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And now he jumped from 15 to 13. Actually, it's funny. He actually went down a peg after the Colts comeback, but he went from 15 to 13 after this Giants game. And then right behind him, Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, Tua, Matthew Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, Justin Fields, Jimmy Garoppolo. So how do you feel about Kirk being 13th here? Where would you put him? Who would you swap?
He's at the bottom. He, in my opinion, well, first of all, I think that the list goes sideways, starting with Dak. I think Kirk belongs probably to be around 8th or 9th. I put him behind Hurts. I'm fine with that. There's no way that he should be above or below Dak Prescott. Like, to me, that makes no sense. I personally, but again, I have not watched a ton of Seattle games. I personally would have him above Geno, but I understand that debate a little bit. But he is, to me, a top 10 guy. Like, like if he's ever going to prove that, he's proven that.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird transition year for quarterbacks too, because like Matthew Stafford rose up maybe into the top 10, and now his body is ravaged and he hasn't played.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson has been banged up again. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers just look a lot older. They still show flashes, and I'd still give me Tom Brady to win a playoff game, but like, so it's this transition period of some of the guys that we're used to seeing top 10 on these lists are coming down the hill for health reasons. Mm-hmm. And then there's the second tier of like the Derek Carrs, Tannehills that when given the right circumstances have been up in that mix too. And some of those guys are having bad years. So if there ever was a year that Kirk is leading the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks, counter argument to that would be, well, but Patrick Mahomes doesn't trail in the fourth quarter that often because he does his work as needed in the first, second, and third quarters. That's a valid point. But I feel like this is too low.
There's an interesting discussion to be had here too, and it's emerging more and more about Jefferson and Kirk. Like, that's another discussion, but Justin Jefferson's incredible, okay? But I will say this in Kirk's defense. Justin Jefferson doesn't throw the ball to himself. Mm-hmm. And you've got to, and look, I mean, I think for a long time, the one positive that we've all consistently talked about Kirk is his arm and his ability to make throws. And what we criticized was the hesitation previously to make such throws, right? He's making them now. Now, Jefferson's making incredible plays, and it's my opinion that the best offensive player on the Vikings is Justin Jefferson. But that being said, Kirk deserves credit for those throws still. And I feel like that's a conversation of how much is that being lost in the translation.
Yeah. Nope. It's I think it's fair to say two things. It's not a black and white thing. Justin Jefferson is absolutely making Kirk Cousins better. But Kirk Cousins has also taken steps forward in his play as a quarterback in key moments. I think one thing we talked about on the Trenches episode with Boone late last night, posted this morning, he, for years and years, it felt like, and Boone agreed as a guy that like watches this from a player's perspective, that if you punched Kirk in the mouth early in a game, interception, a strip sack, a ton of pressure, right? That sometimes that was kind of a wrap, that he would go into full check down mode, or he would rifle off another interception, or and they've had a couple games like that this year. You know, you're not going to be perfect every week, but it feels like he's fighting back against that more often than he ever has in his career. And it's never going to be perfect. He's never going to always fight back against it to the level of like a Mahomes or something, but he is standing in there, whether it's in the face of literal pressure where there's just a defensive lineman bearing down on you and still throwing the ball down the field. And I think he's standing in there as the game flow is going against him in moments where maybe previously he would have just been like overwhelmed by the stress of it. I think KOC is just a great sort of calming presence for him.
The prime one of that is against the Giants, the pick that he threw that was overturned after it became clear that the ball hit the ground previously. That would have freaked him out. He would have quit making throws at that point. He would have checked her down, and he didn't. And yes, that didn't officially go into the books as a pick, but the old Kirk would have said, "Oh my God, that was too close. I'm not going back there. I'm not going to do that again." Look at the last drive. The throws to Jefferson were incredible.
Yeah. Well, and there's even like a couple Thursdays ago on State of the Offense for people. You guys are. This is anecdotal. You're making this up. First 2 years as a Viking, fourth quarter, close games, 3.3 average yards per target. This year, it's 8. I mean, like the evidence, the data is saying the same thing compared to, for sure, the first 2 or 3 years as a Viking.
Remove perception, remove arm talent, remove future seasons. Realistic Randy and I did a little quarterback ranking on this week's episode, which you can find on this YouTube channel. And we both basically decided there are only 4 quarterbacks in the NFL in 2022 for this season that I trust more than Kirk Cousins, who are definitively better than Kirk Cousins this season. Our list was Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Those are the only 4 QBs that we would take above Kirk Cousins' performance in 2022. Does not mean he is the best quarterback going forward after 2022. There's numerous other guys, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. There's future guys in there. Remove all of that and just look at 2022, the body of work that all 5 of those guys have done. Those are the only 4 QBs, in my opinion, that have done more or better than what Kirk Cousins has done this season.
I would probably fight you. Like I get the point of this, that it's like definitively who is definitively better. I would add probably at least 2 more names to that list. I would add Justin Herbert, and I would add Trevor Lawrence, even without the contract in the future. I think those guys are incredible right now. But yeah, like it's not a hill that I would die on.
Right.
If you were to say he is straight up the 7th best quarterback in the NFL right now, I would say, all right.
And this is why the playoffs become so important too, because now ratchet up the pressure, take the thermostat and put it to 85, and that's where we find out.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a blast, and it kind of starts. It's the Vikings don't have a ton to lose. Like the worst thing that can happen to the Vikings in the next 2 weeks is they fall to the 3 seed, but they still host a home playoff game. So this, the floor is pretty high for the Vikings here the last couple weeks, but
yes.
This game against the Packers, you're going on the road. They are desperate. There's a lot of playoff things here brewing, where you might have to go on the road against a desperate team that's also looking to avoid their season ending. So how do they respond? Another emotional win where you come from behind and kick a game-winning field goal. So, yeah, I think that's a wrap on today's episode of Purple Daily. We have more in store with a Purple Access episode with Judd and Chip coming up tomorrow. And we'll get you Purple picks before the week is over as well. We hope you guys enjoy your holiday week here going into New Year's. All of this, by the way, presented to in part by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated has been, speaking of a guiding, calming hand that KOC provides for Cousins, that's what Federated provides for business owners going back to 1904. Based in Owatonna, they are one of us, so to speak. And you can find a full list of industries that Federated specializes in at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. New Year's Day, Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel, right after Vikings and Packers. Again, happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much for making Purple Daily one of the most popular football podcasts in America in 2022. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.